We're doing another Heroes of Might and Magic one. Today we're doing Tier 2 units. So I do have a video of the Tier 1s. I have a video of all the creatures. We will be doing every single tier, Tier 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. I also have a Towns tier list as well. But let me know down in the comments what you guys think. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and let us get to the Tier 2 units. Oh, who do we want to start with here? I did put them in relative order. Let's start with my boys, the zombies. I think stock basic zombie is okay as a tier 2. Overall, pretty tough for a tier 2 unit. But nothing super fancy. Might even be more of a C unit. The Rotter zombie, though, I am going to skip the other upgrade, is a little bit better. I don't really like his ability that he does as much as my Plague zombie here. I am going to put into S. Now, definitely might not agree there, but the more that he does attack somebody, the more they lose their defense. And again, as a tier 2 unit, I think he's very strong, pretty tough, not the easiest to kill. And being undead can definitely help at times as well. So I think he's a very strong tier 2 unit myself. He's definitely one of my favorites in the game. Necropolis is definitely one of my favorite, if not my favorite, town itself. But still, at the worst, he's an A. But we will go ahead and get on to Centaurs, who I really enjoy. I think I got to get the basic one and B as well, maybe even A, just because of the Bloodlust. Plus, you can have the Centaur Hero, which can definitely help. And I will honestly I want to put them honestly in order as well. I just think that Centaurs are super, super damaging, probably at least as much as these marksmen are upgraded as well, as far as backline. But I think they are super, super strong, especially with Bloodlust, and especially with if you have the Centaur Hero. So there is definitely some creatures that have a little bit of a benefit if you do have some heroes that work specifically for them. They definitely, much like the Zombie Lord as well, which is why you could probably put these guys up where they are. So that kind of, isn't a thing here that we are looking at. But as far as other backline units, we'll skip over to the Spearman. I think they're honestly, they're pretty shit. I'm gonna put the best one in B only because, actually I think it might be this one. One of these two has a harpoon that helps a little bit with the situation, but overall, to me, they're probably I would say they are the worst tier 2 unit in the game, just as far as damage output, health, and usefulness. They just are not there. I would choose any one of these other tier 2 units than the Spearman here from Fortress. That's just me. Blood Maidens, I think they are super, super strong. There's a little bit of a pattern I see going on here, not meaning to. Their biggest problem is just how weak they are. Their defense is definitely not there, but their damage, so long as they don't get targeted, is insane. Being able to essentially run up to a unit, attack them, and then leave. The problem with these two is that they can retaliate. With this Blood Maiden, they cannot. So you can definitely reach from a super long distance, do some massive damage, and then leave. So then you are not close to that unit anymore. But they are definitely a high value target to attack when you're facing a dungeon army for sure. But their damage output is insane. I really enjoy using Blood Maidens. I feel like they are arguably one of the best tier 2 units, which, I feel like tier 2 units overall seem pretty strong as far as like their grouping. There's a lot of pretty solid and strong ones. I would say Blood Maidens are definitely up there. Archers, I mean, we're honestly probably just gonna stick with this thing that we seem to be doing of backline archer is solid. I think having backline units is strong in this game. Having people come up to you, having just a better upgraded version is nice. But with the elite marksman, having essentially no fall off damage or range, whichever you would like to call it, from your attack is massive for a tier 2 unit. He can definitely deal out some high damage, especially the closer they get. I know it doesn't technically do more damage, but still it's very nice to be able to hit somebody from the entire length of the battlefield for as much damage as they would be, as up close and personal to you. Blade Dancers. I just feel like this Blade Dancer. Alright, we're going to put this one. I'm going to do this again. I know everybody's probably tired of it. Actually, maybe not this one, but this one up here. So the biggest reason why this one is not lower, while I think they could be definitely because of lack of defense and kind of honestly a little bit lack of attack, but the possibility of hitting multiple units with one attack is there, so it's definitely worth it. While the upgraded tier Blade Dancers to me are not that much better. They are because they are an upgrade, but they don't really do anything different. Now, with the other upgraded Blade Dancers, with this one, the more that you move them around the map, the more defense they gain. So if you can, every single, turn, you're moving them to another person to attack or whatever, you're just gaining automatic defense for that unit. So I think it's very strong. I think they can definitely do a high amount of damage, especially if you're hitting multiple targets. Definitely the biggest weakness, I would say honestly probably with all Sylvan units, but definitely the lower tiers is their defense and their weakness and lack thereof, because it's not good. Sylvan's definitely a high DPS team, but very low health and defense. But the fact that you're gaining defense every time you're moving him is very strong. Gargoyles. I'll put these two in A, and honestly this one in C. So honestly just the biggest reason Gargoyles are even decent is just because they are elemental. They're not undead, but they can't be hit by any sort of magic. Not really. You can, but you're not going to do very much damage at all. And you essentially can't do anything to them overall except actually attack them with another unit. And honestly, they're pretty high defensive tier 2 unit, much like the zombies, but their attack is definitely not there. They're just much more of a high defense tier 2 meat shield, if you will, for the rest of Academy. Again, they have their benefits because of being elemental and not being able to be hit by magic and just having so much magic resistance. But other than that, I would say if they weren't that, I would drop them down for sure, because they are overall a pretty weak tier 2 unit. But still their defense is pretty high, but their attack is definitely pretty non-existent for a tier 2. They're just essentially tier 2 meat shields with magic resistance. So, but they have their benefits. Let's see, Horned Demons. Our last tier 2 unit here. I think... Oof. we'll give the stock one a B because I do feel like they're pretty, I would say they're very balanced. They're pretty tough, but they also do a pretty good amount of damage for a tier 2. Now, the problem here is where we want to put these guys. They definitely deserve A, but I don't know if they deserve an S. Honestly, we'll go to our back to our apparent roots in the beginning and go one of each. So I think, like I said, they're pretty balanced to me. They do a pretty good amount of damage for a tier 2 unit. I also think they're pretty decently tough. They're not really either one. You know, I wouldn't say that they're as tough as zombies or as tough as gargoyles. But I definitely wouldn't say that they do as much damage as like a blade dancer or any of the archers or a blood maiden. So I definitely think that they're very mid overall as a tier 2 unit, but the bomb explosion for this one is nice. The only downside to that is that you can harm your own units with that. But I will say the leap is very strong to be able to get in and after units and get, you know, where you need to be for a melee tier 2 unit is nice to use the leap. Plus it obviously does do some damage, and being able to just get into the fight there with leap I think is strong. So let me know down in the comments what you guys think about my tier 2 Heroes of Might and Magic Tribes of the East units. Don't forget, like, subscribe. We will be doing all of the other tiers. I've already done the group like I said, so we will get to every single tier that you see here, and we'll go from there. So we will see you in the next one later.